Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com. This update is taken from the Local Marketing Source Professional Development Program for local marketers.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter @ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/ScottPGallagher.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source, bringing you our Local Marketing Industry Weekly Update. Live Q&A is going to follow the weekly update. And our next faculty call is, well, next week. It is not going to be on Wednesday. It will be, just give me 1 second here. I didn't put it in my notes, and I should have. Well, it's going to be on the 27th of July at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's Friday, July 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Next week is my travel time going up to Canada. I get to enjoy some time on a beach up there on Lake Huron, actually on an island called Manitoulin. And if you're not familiar, it is the largest island on the planet in fresh water. It's a cottage. It doesn't have any, it's off-grid. Solar power, wind power, water collection, instant hot water with shower through diesel. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. We've got satellite communication. Not good enough to be able to host a faculty call or anything of that nature, but we'll be able to go online if I want to. I definitely don't want to, and I'll be spending my time chopping wood. But I will come to town for the faculty call and check my email 1 day out of 10. In any event, I do want to make mention to a report that I created. It's hosted on different sites. Simple search, just go to Google, top 10 local SEO strategies, or top local SEO strategy, or and you'll find that #1 in Google. It's gotten a lot of good reviews, a lot of great comments to it, a lot of direction. I've been told it's a very good high-level overview of a local SEO strategy, so if you want to check that out. Another thing I wanted to talk about is online reputation management for local. Again, you can go to Google and Google that term, online reputation management for local business. You'll find some good content out there for that. Now, I've also got a report that I've created for that. Again, that's ranking up there, and you'll find that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what online reputation management is and what it does for local businesses and why this is important. And essentially, it's the process of measuring and monitoring and improving how we're perceived, or how local businesses are perceived in the online world. And that perception can be very different to what the business portrays or actually portrays, whether it's a variance of good or bad. It can go, the pendulum could truly go either which way. And those businesses that have further engagement online and fail to watch what's happening online could fall down a slope real quickly. And when a business does get a bad review, which businesses are going to, you've got to assume that every business at some point in time is going to have to deal with bad reviews. It's got to happen. There's not a business on the planet that makes everyone happy. So we've got to be able to prepare our customers and prepare our businesses on how to handle and combat those negative reviews. And when we look at where they come from, they come from people. And unfortunately in the world there is misperceptions between consumers and businesses that just aren't solved or able to be solved. But we make every attempt we can to solve that, also understanding that those people that bark online have a larger, louder bark than they do offline. We've got to treat them differently. You know, it was when Twitter first came out a little over 2 years ago, it wasn't hard to make a complaint online. And I remember complaining about Comcast at one point, and they tweeted me back a direct number, no 800 number, to somebody answered the phone, no automated messages. And when I asked for a refund, they essentially doubled it for me. And you know, I recognize that customer service department was different than the customer service department through the 800 number. They treated me different. It's not to that degree anymore, but because of the amount of people that are online. But it's still to the point that those people online impact businesses differently than those people offline. And whether the business is right or wrong, sometimes an ego's got to be, you know, got to be put down and make the effort to correct that problem. And so a lot of these review sites allow businesses to respond, but they restrict the response. They restrict the size of the number of characters that a business can respond to. They restrict the frequency a business can respond. So it's going to be short, concise, and sweet. So there's review sites that are really important, such as Google, Yelp, Zagat, Facebook, social sites, local like Bing, Yahoo. And those should be monitored. Businesses should have accounts and engage when necessary, or the local internet marketing agency should have the systems in place to recognize that negative PR and in turn notify the business to respond. Creating positive content is also an effective online reputation management strategy. And creating positive content in the form of different media and different profile sites and adding authority to those sites essentially was what we do in SEO. Making sure that you've got unique content. If you've got unique content, unique videos, different walkthroughs, different types of audiences on different sites, you're rocking and rolling. Somebody's going to Google keywords and you'll be listed locally and organically. All right, now to get into some of our weekly overview that's unique content, not opinion or created by local marketing source. There's a big change at Yahoo this week. It's really shocked the community, and it's amazing how much it shocked the community. But yet another high senior executive of Google leaves to be at the helm of a failing organization. That's Marissa Mayer of Google. She was actually employee number 20 at Google. 20,000 employees now. She slung the hot dog cart at Google. She's now the CEO of Yahoo. And interestingly, she headed up a lot of different projects at Google. Was highly involved with the development of the company from its startup stages. Became rich and famous, and lives her home. People come into her home and question her home and go, does Google look like your home, or does your home look like Google? She's the one responsible for heading up Google's home page. The simplicity and the look and feel of these colors, and she loves these colors on white backgrounds. And so you vision what Yahoo is. To me, it's just a cluttered mess. They've got a ton of content, and they've got a big audience. They've got a lot. uh, but it's very different than where Marissa's going, and who knows what Yahoo's objective is going to be in the world of search. It's probably our ideas already lingering. I mean, this is something that's been discussed for quite some time. So Google has lost top executives to businesses like Facebook, Yahoo, AOL, that would be Tim Armstrong. And some of these have been good changes, such as Sheryl Sandberg. She's Facebook's COO. She's the one that head up Facebook's IPO. It's a big deal. Anyhow, I think it's big news. I think in the local ecospace, Yahoo's got a lot of clout. They've got a lot of ability to play ball. And they always have. They've been around for a long time. They've been collecting a lot of data about a lot of different things. They've got all my different types of business information. It's incredible. So I think we're going to see some things happen with the local ecosystem and Yahoo. Now Google's got an interesting launch. A very artsy marketing campaign towards creating mobile content. In the campaign, they've shared a few statistics that are pretty amazing. The first one isn't so amazing, but yet it's pretty staggering when you consider it. 107 million Americans, so there's roughly 300 million Americans. That's 1/3. It's pretty big. 33% are going to use smartphones by 2012. Okay. Over 100 million. It's about 50% of all mobile phone users. Now, this is where the statistic gets pretty awesome. More than half of smartphone users, after searches, more than half of users after a search visit a store location. 60% of users call a business after searching on their mobile phone. So mobile searches have massive conversion rates. So much more than searches on the internet. Probably by the tune of 5 times. So to create content to influence the propensity to take that call to action is a big deal in the eyes of Google. They've got to get us to be able to have content that's relevant for those that are going to be on these small devices. So their campaign is create your own mobile website. And they give instructions, very simple instructions. Evaluate what type of content. Design. Go ahead and create the site, and then measure your efforts. Now, in an interesting study in regards to customer satisfaction, when it's maintained, is a clear factor in a business's success, long-term success. So this is pretty interesting that Google Plus absolutely trumps Facebook in customer satisfaction. Sure, things are way off. A lot of us don't utilize Google Plus in the same way. There's 150 million active users on Google Plus. 900 million on Facebook. What is that, like 6 times difference? It's not bad in a year and a half or a little over a year for Google Plus. So the score was that Google Plus scored 78 out of 100, and Google Plus was the most liked social network. Facebook had 61, and they were the most disliked. There's over a dozen social networks that were evaluated, including Bing and Yahoo's version. Facebook dropped 8% over 1 year. That's a big deal. People are starting to dislike Facebook more and more. If that trend continues, who knows? Well, that comes to the conclusion of our weekly update. I'd like to wish everyone a good week, and we will have our update next week. And now I'm going to open the floor to live questions.
That concludes this Local Marketing Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com. This update is provided from the Local Marketing Source Professional Development Program for local marketers. Visit localmarketingsource.com for additional resources focused on online marketing for local businesses.